Welcome back, everybody, to The Defense. We have our second series of the day, and it is also a very important series because it is the reveal of our second... Or sorry, I'm sorry, I'm getting a little ahead of myself. This is going to be the reveal of Monkey Business.
Oh yeah.
Apologize.
Big Daddy No Tail.
I was fiddling with... See, this right here is controlling my
That's
overlays.
a keyboard.
So I'm like...
Know.
Yeah, this is a keyboard. Yeah. So I'm like... trying to like on the down low switch over to the right camera and everything else, and my mind gets jumbled up while I'm doing that.
Yeah, off camera shot, and he's actually fiddling with keyboard keys, not with anything else. So
yeah, don't take anything from my hands being down here. It's totally legit. I promise. I promise.
No Tail, Fly, Crit, Moon Meander, and Miracle.
Mm-hmm.
Once again, one of these players that has kind of risen from JDL Division 3 and 2 and found himself on a pretty all-star lineup. Jordanian player. Pub star, 8K MMR, but how's he going to fare with the big dogs up here?
I'm looking forward to seeing this team in action just because you have such big personalities. Between Moon and Big Daddy No Tail, I can only imagine this team is going to be a lot of fun to watch at LAN events.
I just realized as well, Saka, he's also pretty high up in the MMR. He's another pub star, so pub star against pub star. But yeah, these two teams, both very similar in terms of personalities and things like that as well. But Fly returning back to No Tail's arms once again, reunited. And Moon Meander followed him. But Crit, he's a player that's been around for quite some time as well.
Yeah.
Played with MYM for a long time. I know he's played a ton of FPL. He played in a lot of the IXCL, NEL, the American in-houses.
Yep.
He's been playing a lot with the American players.
Yeah, he goes into the NA region. That's actually where I first met him when I was still over there in America. I would run into him in pubs and NEL and stuff. And he's a good guy. I think he's spoken of pretty highly from the other European players.
Yeah. He played with Rise for quite some time, and Rise had nothing but good things to say about him. He's always talked about him as being one of the most underrated players in the world. He's very solid. Maybe he's not the flashiest of people, not the flashiest of players, doesn't pull out those big sort of pub stomp plays, but he's always reliable. And he knows what he's doing.
Darkseer and Tusk. That's an interesting one, too. So we have the 4-position Tusk right off the bat. I don't really like Tusk being picked into Winter Wyvern necessarily because I feel like Winter Wyvern counters you quite heavily. But then again, Winter Wyvern counters a lot of heroes quite heavily. I mean, if you do physical damage, you're countered in some way through Cold Embrace, But I just feel like Tusk is a little bit more susceptible to that because you have a natural grouping up mechanism in the snowball. You're probably not going to be grabbing your allies in that a whole lot of time just for fear of the Winter Wyvern. And then it's pretty obvious you're very single target focused at that point in time. You get the Cold Embrace, hopefully to be able to dodge some of that physical damage out from the Walrus Punch, slow down a lot of the magic damage they first lays out is kind of healed up in the process. I feel like Winter Wyvern is a really strong first pick when you're not able to get your traditional Bounty Hunter, Leshrac, Lina first picks,
Yeah. Over the weekend, we saw a lot of Silencer first pick, but it didn't really work out that well over the weekend for the German teams, the two All-Star, Malini All-Star team and Sing Sing All-Star teams. And I feel like it's quite similar to Winter Wyvern in the way that you use the hero both in lane and then in team fights. You've got that big disruptive ultimate where, Winter's Curse against Global Silence. You've got zoning power from the Glaives and the Silencer's Harass as well. Winter Wyvern has the Arctic Burn. But the one thing that Winter Wyvern definitely has over the Silencer is Splinter Blast. That spell on the ridiculously low cooldown, was it 7 seconds? Yeah, 7 seconds cooldown.
Yeah.
You can clear out creep camps, you can push lanes, you can split push, you can stall and harass people down when they're pushing up into your tier 3s. You're just such a well-rounded, multifaceted hero in that Wyvern that even if you do sometimes rely on that long cooldown ultimate, you've got other means of actually approaching team fights.
Certainly, I feel like the Winter Wyvern is almost like a slightly less better version of turtling and defending those early towers than Keeper of the Light. You know, I mean, Splinter Blast, first of all, you don't have to charge it up, so you can just throw it out there. Doesn't do quite the insane amount of damage. You can't just, like, one-shot the whole entire creep wave, but it does do enough to be able to draw aggro back. 2 Splinter Blasts easily cleans up the whole entire creep wave. Yeah, I feel like Winter Wyvern is rapidly becoming, like, first pick material, but we'll see now with the Wisp being picked up, another hero that Winter Wyvern does pretty good against. I mean, you always have a hero within Winter's Curse range if you go for one of the two.
Yeah, I think against Wisp he's like 23-8, something along those lines. I can't exactly remember the stat, but it's a ridiculously high win rate. When you compare it to like Disruptor, who goes 50-50, like dead even, he's good against the Wisp, but he's not, you know, amazing against Wisp combos. Winter Wyvern's also pretty good against the Wisp Tiny, so it's an interesting pickup. But, you know, it's one of No-Tail's signature heroes. Is he gonna be playing it, though, is the question, because he's been touted as being the mid player for this team, returning to his original role, going back to that lane. I just wonder who's actually going to be playing that, and they do go back for the Tiny.
All right, so we are going to have a dual lane mid of Tiny Wisp against the Queen of Pain, and off lane Darkseer, and Tusk babysitting an unknown carry for Monkey Business. What do you think Big Daddy is going to be playing here? Because he's heading back to the mid lane role.
I have no idea, actually. Like, I feel like he's going to be playing Wisp. This, you know, this is a very versatile. Like,
it's so hard to say no to Big Daddy Wisp.
Exactly.
But I mean, if he's going back to the core position, he should be taking over the top lane. It's usually where most mids are going to be taking the safe lane if there's going to be a Wisp Tiny. But
because like from what I saw from Miracle when he was playing on 4 Bunnies, 1 Turtle, the sort of Jordanian team they had, he didn't seem like the Tiny kind of player. You know, he's more of the flashy Ember Spirit Storm, you know, Sumail kind of player. But
I would agree with that.
He's meant to be playing like the 1 role.
10 seconds.
And I don't know if he can transition into that Tiny. It's such a versatile team. I don't think that
5 seconds
they should really be limiting themselves to, you know, full on you play mid, you play safe lane. We saw a lot of Artesian S4 switching up lanes a little bit like that. But also we used to see from Chrissy, I think a prime example, when he was playing for Rave, he would play mid. That was his role. But when they picked Wisp, they would give him Wisp.
Right.
So he'd go one game playing Storm Spirit and going, you know, 12-0, some ridiculous rampage. Then the next game, he would be actually playing Wisp with JO's Tiny. And I don't think that's too out of the ordinary to pull off, especially when, you know, you said it best, you can't give up on No-Tail's Wisp, really.
I'm still very concerned because we have a good amount of AoE. You picked Wisp into Winter Wyvern. You have the Cask, which is already there from the Witch Doctor, which is incredibly strong with any sort of tether combination. You have AoE from the Queen of Pain, and now you have the Animage's AoE Ultimate, which is probably going to catch both of the heroes that are in the tether. I mean, very likely you're going to be targeting one or the other with that ultimate. I feel like these two are quite heavily countered by what 4C&L have drafted in this first game.
And then Bloodseeker, the final ban out. Magnus ban is interesting, though, from Monkey Business. I guess they were looking at 4C&L and thinking that they need an offlaner. Maybe that's a Bambo hero.
And that would work well with the Animage and being able to... Like, first of all, you already have the group up mechanism of the Curse, the Snowball, the Wisp Tether. Like, there's a lot of heroes in close proximity to each other. RP should be relatively easy to get.
5 seconds remaining.
And you've got so much AoE combination. Then you've got the Empower on an Animage to make him, like, not only at that point in time would he be able to clear through stacks everywhere, he would clear through an Ancient stack really early on.
Oh, yeah.
And that could just hyper boost the Animage's farm.
Yeah, Monkey Business has like a dogpile lineup. Tusk, Snowball in, Darkseer, Vacuum, Tiny, relocate with the Wisp. Everyone just sort of, you know, piles on in onto one target. That's that RP from Mag could really have put a spanner in the works. But what do we actually want to see from Bambo? Because last game, we saw the Pudge. Not sure how it would fare here. You know, against these melee heroes, it could be decent. They can actually try and hook someone back, catch the Wisp, and it's a good mechanism to do so. Beastmaster, he's very adept on as well. This could even be, you know, Bambo, Queen of Pain. It's a hero that we've seen a lot in the off lane. Of late, she's actually not been picked, you know, that often. She's kind of been left until later on into the draft. But this early on, still a very dynamic, versatile hero that you can put into a multitude of roles.
Yeah, I think the amount of times that I've
10
heard in
seconds
recent
remaining.
memory, let's go. Queen of Pain is still in the pool.
5
Yeah.
seconds
Yeah, people are
remaining.
just not valuing that hero quite as much as they used to. I feel like the Queen of Pain, like it would have been nice. Like the Tusk wouldn't really be able to control you as a 4 position, babysitting that top lane against an off lane Queen of Pain. But the Wind Ranger, I think, tips it more into Queen of Pain mid, just because at that point in time, like Shackle Shot is such a great lockdown against the Queen of Pain. I would be still kind of scared about running Quap top. But then again, what offlaners are really left? No Magnus, no Clockwork, no Earthshaker. You still have the Beastmaster that you mentioned earlier. The Sand King offlane
10
is still
seconds
there. That
remaining.
AoE is pretty good versus Tiny Wisp combination usually.
You kind of
5
need a
seconds
counter
remaining.
initiator to set things up for the Wyvern.
Yeah, I agree. Oh, okay. So they're going to go for a Bristleback mid, and we are going to be running a Quap offlane, I think. I think you were on the money there. I mean, this could be a Bristleback just offlane. They run like Witch Doctor Bristleback duel off against the Tusk Wind Ranger, but I feel like they're more likely to put the Bristle. Yeah, 60 Bambo has picked up the Queen of Pain. They're going to put the Bristle, and maybe Winter Wyvern comes in. I'm not sure which hero
Witch
you
Doctor?
value more.
Cask onto the Wisp.
Yeah.
He's got better base damage as well, so you can kind of zone out the Wisp as well. You're not going to be trading hits as well.
It's funny, I feel like the Witch Doctor is better at level 2, but the Winter Wyvern is better at level 1
With
just
Arctic
because
Burn.
that Arctic Bird is
Yeah.
so good in the middle lane. But
That's true.
I think you're probably right. Witch Doctor is probably going to be mid with Pycat.
They
They'll
don't-
run.
They don't
They'll
have
run that dual lane.
that Dazzle Bristleback we used to see from Empire. They really had on lockdown even before Winter Wyvern was in the game how to deal with that Tiny Wisp
Prepare
mid.
for
With
battle.
Bristle Dazzle they used to run a ton. And Bristleback really is one of these really great heroes that has kind of been forgotten. Obviously, Wisp and Tiny isn't picked up a ton anymore outside of sort of a couple of CIS games, but Monkey Business bringing it back.
So it's going to be Crit playing. Oh, he plays a really good Wisp. Okay, yeah. I remember this now. Crit is actually a very good Wisp player. So Big Daddy No Tail will be playing the Tiny mid with Crit, and they are going to have Miracle playing his Wind Ranger, which he's got an incredibly OP Wind Ranger. Seriously.
Have you been owned by it in pubs?
Own doesn't begin to describe
Decimated.
the... I mean, there's an R
Demasculinated.
word that probably works really well. That would
30
probably be
seconds
ravaged. I got ravaged pretty hard by Miracle. Wind Ranger. Yeah, it's scary. Shackle Shot is back to being OP, by the way. That ability. The range is stupidly insane.
The latch range.
All right, so we're going to have our top lane being covered here. I'm sure they're going to be given their rune to... It almost looks like 60 Bambo's going to be taking it. Yeah,
Every coin
he is.
Worthy
So,
tribute.
okay, so they are going to be putting now the Queen of Pain middle because Crit and Big Daddy No Tail went up to the top lane. So they're back to running Queen of Pain mid.
Okay.
If it was a Tiny Wisp middle, 100% they're running Pycat against that. But they want to continue to try and put the Bristleback against the Tiny Wisp as best as possible. Because the physical damage is insanely good. Both these heroes have 0 armor to start with.
So this is Bambo Queen of Pain against Miracle Wind Ranger. I can't wait to see the dives. I like level 2 diving onto tier 1 is going to happen here. Without a shadow of a doubt. Just blinks forward and looks for the kills. But this has left the anti-mage bottom lane 1v1 against the Darkseer, which is not ideal. Saxa up to... Saxa. Up at top on the...
Believe me,
Wyvern.
guys, we do know how to pronounce it. But, you know, like 90% of the time, I think we're pronouncing it correctly. We know there's no S before the K, but, you know, it's a name. Sometimes we'll mess it up. They're going full tri-lane here now as they bring EGM's Witch Doctor up to the top lane, and they're just going to leave Swift Ending against Moon's off-lane Darkseer. Nice deny out there. So full aggro tri-lane versus tri-lane. Anti-Mage works rather well versus the Darkseer if he has that extra regen, which is exactly the build he's gone for. Double Tangos plus the Healing Salve and a Stout Shield. So he should be able to do pretty well. Ooh, Sexy Bambo almost already dying and giving up that first blood in the middle lane. He's off to a very poor start with his lack of regeneration. Like, he's only got the tangos. It's going to be
middle tower is under attack.
a lot of lost CS at this point.
Does he have to go back to base here? Level 2 power shot and one right click kills him.
I mean, he probably gets hit by another power shot, and then Sexy Bambo's still left in the same position where it's like, I've got no HP and I can't really move forward to go for CS. Top lane, charge in. They're going to go for crit, but Pykat's been stunned up underneath that tier 1 tower. Will take a bit too much damage to really go for it. Miracle picks up a double damage just to make things a bit easier for him. Sexy Bambo is trying desperately to be able to get that last couple of CS to allow him to get a bottle so he can stay in this lane without having to go back. But with Miracle having a double damage, that's not going to be possible.
AM down at bot really pushed it to the limit as well. Burnt through a lot of Darkseer's mana. That's a pop itself though, and now the Darkseer has Soul Ring. If he heads over to the side shop, he's got that ready and available. Bambo with a bounty rune down at bot. That's going to secure his bottle. Immediately sends it out to himself. That's how desperate he wants it. While EGM just can contest this pull spot.
Pycat, oh, nice toss back. Pykat's going to be stuck in a nasty position here. Will be blocked out by the ice shards, and there goes our first blood.
From a stone.
I felt like it could have happened anywhere, but tri-lane versus tri-lane scenario was the obvious one. Great setup from Big Daddy No-Tail. I feel like this combination is just going to be a little bit extra special because you have a player who's playing the Tiny who actually knows the Wisp incredibly well. Like, this could be like your potentially premier Tiny Wisp combination.
A Wisp player playing Tiny with a Wisp player on Wisp.
Yeah.
Oh, Miracle is actually getting harassed back a little bit here by Bambo now, who's getting his last hits in. He's still 10 behind. And it's still a rough as hell lane because he's had no support to come in. Saxka is going to get found by Fly, and his Tusk at TI5 was impeccable. Now we're going to get the opening here onto the Winter Wyvern. That is going to trade hits and back themselves up, but EGM and Saxa both trapped down in the river. They've got to walk themselves back out to the lane to try and give Pycat an easier time.
And they're going to go into Pycat here, see if they can get some damage on him. I doubt very much that they'll kill him. In fact, if anything, Crit is going to be slowed down by the Winter's Curse. Pycat will easily be able to pick up this kill. He's got no tether. Big Daddy No-Tails left with no regen whatsoever. Pycat's going to be able to get a secondary kill here, especially with Sexy Bambo making sure they get the fight won. Still, though, this middle lane is very difficult for Sexy Bambo. He is a full level behind. Fortunately, he does have a regeneration rune, but 21 and 12 Wind Ranger compared to an 8 and 3 Queen of Pain. And now our Animage, unfortunately, he didn't get quite as much CS to be able to pick up that early ring of health, and now he's left with no regeneration whatsoever. Moon has definitely pushed this one to the limit. That way, the top lane, though. Oh, the Cold Embrace, not enough to save you. Witch Doctor will go down. Back over to that bottom lane. Swift Ending still has his blink.
But Moon has cut the creep wave.
Yeah, so he's stuck in this awkward position where he's not going to get any CS out of this.
He might even just have to blink back and try and get back to his creep wave. Oh, he's looped around. Moon used Iron Shell on himself, so he doesn't have that means to stop it.
Backing back, gets a little bit of extra damage. Swift Ending still stuck behind the trees. Moon will just cut yet another creep wave. He's playing this lane incredibly well. Like, the decision-making here, cutting the creep wave, I think at the perfect time where he really needed to. He denied just enough to keep the, like, he got 4 different denies. If that Animage picks up his Ring of Health just a full minute sooner, he's probably in a lot more control this lane. I'm a bit surprised he didn't go for the Ring of Regen build, though. When I've seen this matchup, Animage versus Darkseer, he likes to go the early Ring of Regen from the side shop and then get the Ring of Health as soon as he can. Because that will still be very efficient because he goes both... oh, Jesus. He still goes both Battle Fury as well as Vlad's.
Yeah, Moon knew that he couldn't get the courier on the way towards Anti-Mage. He got a hit in, but he knew he couldn't surge to try and find it. But then he surged just now to try and actually chase the courier down and get the double hit in to try and finish it off. But good micro there. Making sure that surge was used first before showing the courier over the trees.
Sexy Bambo's just giving up on that middle lane. He's full-time rotating super early on, but This will definitely shut down the Tiny Wisp a bit more because I don't think they're going to be able to get away from this dive. Crit is nowhere close to being able to have the kind of regen to keep Big Daddy No Tail alive here. Nice Sonic Wave actually clips both. Still gets a little bit of heal out. Now the Wind Ranger comes in from the side. Shackle Shot lands in, toss, and there goes Sexy Bambo. Big Daddy No Tail will die to Pycat, but Miracle's still in a great position and might be able to pick up an additional kill here to make the team fight go to their favor. Pycat gets shackled up, nicely played, power shot, and a couple more right clicks will finish him off. Cold Embrace goes off, but Miracle has a bottle of his own and might just be able to get the damage necessary. Pycat, another set of quills, Miracle's low.
Stick charges.
And the Wisp comes in. This will turn it around back into the favor of Miracle, who will use his Wind Run to be able to slow down Pycat and make sure he does in fact die.
That sneaky attempt onto the Wyvern who was TPing out as well. Power shot across onto him.
Yeah, I saw that. Oh, that would have been so impressive if you picked up Soxa as well.
How's the AM doing? Darkseer couldn't really TP up to that fight and fly. And Clovers has assist to his name, looking to try and shut down the AM even more. But yeah, Bambo's level 6 rotation there, using the Sonic Wave, they just didn't have enough. It was a good Sonic Wave, you know, catching Tiny and Wisp both across the front.
Radiant's top
But
tower
Miracle,
is under attack.
this Windrunner, level 8 now. A level and a half ahead of the Queen of Pain and really racing ahead.
Moon efficiently jungling at this point in time, while Atas is going to get a little bit of experience in this bottom lane. Knowing he really doesn't have anywhere else he can go. Like, the mid lane's already won by the Wind Ranger. Top lane, I'm not sure how helpful he would be. Crit's going to be caught here. Even with the tether up, there's just no escape. And Big Daddy No Tail will die potentially again here. Do they have the stun? Oh, they have nothing. Cask was already thrown earlier, so.
Tower is under attack.
Is Fly over here looking for stacks? He's running through the Radiant jungle. He doesn't have any observables or anything. The sentry and the smoke. I don't think they can really kill the AM down bot lane. They could try. 1000 HP now. He's got his strength treads. 1 point in the mana shield. It's a tough ask, but if they force the blink first, they could definitely give it a good go.
Wall goes out. Vacuum. Snowball just a bit late. If he had landed that, just thrown it a bit sooner, Fly would have gotten that kill. Unfortunately, timing slightly off. He's going to be slowed down here. Animage, do you really want to push this one forward here? He's going to try and go for the toss, but surprise! Big Daddy No Tail's tired of being up in that top lane, and he will join his team for some more kills at bottom.
Under tier 1.
Yep.
And clear out this creep wave. And Moon Meander. He's got the Mech and Soul Ring. Pre-10 minutes. Okay, he skipped over Arcane Boots. He doesn't have those. But they've got this Team 5 sustain, and coupled up with the Wisp, they've got a ton of healing here to allow No Tail to actually continue fighting.
And considering, like, yes, No Tail was shut down by all that aggression, but he's still ahead of the Animage now after he got the last hit on that tower.
And I'm not even sure you need the blink on this Tiny. You know, we used to see it from the Wisp Tiny combo recently, definitely, just to give you that killing power and give you the mobility to jump between camps when you're farming. But the fact you have Tusk, Snowball, Surge, Iron Shell, Shackle, you've got so many ways to advance yourself forward from your teammates and ways to lock someone down so you can just, you know, wander yourself up to get your Avalanche Toss combo. Then Relocate goes without saying, the tether on top of that. That I think you can go for a greedier build.
Yeah, I think so. I think you would still go for the traditional builds. I think if you're shut down, the Blink Dagger just doesn't make as much sense. Top lane, Pycat's able to run down the toss. Still, though, will be caught by Big Daddy No Tail's going to look for the toss back. Has to toss him straight up in the air instead, but still is able to get the kill on Pycat. Great pickoff and easy trade-off for Monkey Business.
Yeah, pretty nice for them. And Moon. This Darkseer, he's getting so farmed. This is definitely not where you want to be. This Queen of Pain does not have a single thing. She's barely got treads now with 1,000 gold saved up. And level 11 is miles away. You know, the Wind Ranger, the Copper's caught up with the Wind Ranger. And this is something that I think Blitz was talking about over the weekend. The fact that even if you... Oh, Shackle.
Yeah, that's a level 3 Shackle.
Wall and Relocate as well.
There is no need for any of that when it's a level 3 Shackle shot.
She was dead.
Yeah, that's 3 seconds done.
But yeah, even if you crush the lane, even if you get to, level 8 or level whatever it is first.
Yeah.
Level 11 is sort of the key one that he was mentioning as well. That even if you get to these key levels, there's still ways back into it. Because your team is doing decently. You've got the level advantage. You're killing low-level heroes. Whoa.
Yeah, there was... I didn't realize... I thought they relocated
up
from the base. But he relocated from the top lane. So Pyke had free kill there, but middle lane, there is going to be a fight. EGM is going to be picked off to start things out, but Miracle is going to be targeted by Sexy Bamboo. Still, though, with the mech goes down. Can they have enough damage? Swift Ending tries to pop the ultimate a couple times. Miracle's, though, at half, and still has the shackle to be able to launch off Swift Ending. Safka, he needs to try and help out Miracle, or try and help get the kill on Miracle. But oh my god, he finally managed to get out the Mana Void. Miracle trying to get the deny. I know the Splinter Blast! He almost had that one. Monkey business. They lose the fight hard there. Underneath the tier 1 tower. Did they even get the tower? Destroyed by Big Daddy No-Tail. That is hugely important because that will seriously boost up his Aghanim Scepter.
Yeah, he's halfway there now.
But still, now our Wind Ranger has been kind of shut down. Back to where the Queen of Pain was.
Middle tower is under attack.
The Queen of Pain has been a part of enough kills where her experience is paying off quite heavily.
And that's with Mech Arcanes, Vacuum, Wall, your big teamfight ultimates, and Recall. We're
gonna go
EGM. Avalanche Charles said, yeah, the poor little Witch Doctor. I'm going to last through that.
Still, Pycat's getting a lot of free farm. He's 6'3" into 64 CS, top of the net worth board right now at 5,600. Does he finish Crimson Guard here? Vanguard and Crimson Guard are both really valuable versus Focus Fire because essentially you're mitigating your damage for more shots, and that means the damage protection of Vanguard is a lot more valuable. Toss back here, nice setup. Snowball's there as well. Pycat does have the Cold Embrace that's going to be coming in soon. Winter's Curse, turn around. Fly's going to be going down here, and Pycat might just be able to get out. Cold Embrace still has the haste. Miracle looking for that shackle shot, and will actually throw out a power shot. I think he was trying to land it onto the Winter Wyvern, perhaps, at the same time.
The answer to your question is yes, he's going for the Crimson Guard.
Okay.
It's pretty good against Darkseer Wall Illusions as well.
Yeah, true.
The right clicks out from Tiny don't really care too much about the damage block, but it's still good damage mitigation. And for squishy targets like the Wyvern, the Witch Doctor, it means an absolute ton. Even the Anti-Mage, if he gets locked into a shackle shot, a Focus Fire could potentially bring him down. So just having that little bit of extra effective HP onto these key heroes that need to survive through, definitely important.
Speaking of Swift Ending, he's been doing all right catching up. Like 5K net worth, not bad. We're looking at probably a 16-minute Battle Fury if he doesn't get picked off.
Yeah, he just needs Broadsword now. It's actually not that bad. Up to 90 last hits, you kind of want this, 9 minutes in, 10 minutes in, when you're taking a couple of jungle camps as well as lane. But against the Darkseer, with no lane support at all, definitely not possible. But Ags is nearly up for No-Tail. He's now 700 gold off that. And crit with his urn and bottle. He's got the sustain through. But the one hero that I'm kind of looking at in this lineup, in this draft, that hasn't had the impact I thought maybe it could have is Fly's Tusk. He's made a couple of movements. He's missed out on, a couple of openings on the Anti-Mage, on the Queen of Pain at middle. Maybe you can actually do some work with the Snowball, though. If you can save someone, keep them alive through the Winter's Curse or something like that, you can Snowball through that. That could be game-changing.
Yeah. What's EGM doing? He's hanging out. He's waiting for top lane to push in and see if he can get
level 6.
I guess some sort of pick-off. I mean, I don't think he can even get level 6 here. Like, the creep wave's just going to push past. Even if, like, one creep wave does die here, it's not enough to go from bare minimum level 5 to all the way up to level 6, so I think he's just waiting for the Tiny Wisp to push out and catch them from behind to be able to get the kill, but they're not going to commit to the tower. It's actually going to be monkey business, positioning themselves very aggressively with this 3-man smoke, looking to be able to pick off the Anti-Mage.
They wanted Bambo down at bot lane, who hides in the jungle, or hides in the trees, and now shows himself back again. Oh, they could have found the AM.
Yeah, Miracle would have been in. Great position. Oh, the snowball's coming out. Swift Ending. He's going to be caught by that shackle shot, latched down. They even have to relocate just to make sure the Anti-Mage dies because That kill was incredibly important. He was getting very close to his Battle Fury, but that's shut down for probably another 3 to 4 minutes. Top lane, though, Crit's dead. Bye-bye.
But worth it, definitely.
Certainly. Wisp in exchange for the Animage, while Big Daddy No Tail's about to finish up his Aghanim Scepter. The difference between these two carries is getting more and more dramatic as time goes on. The speed of their individual farming items. Tiny's going to be able to pick up his so much faster.
Yeah, the Tiny didn't really need to go for drums or anything like that because you got all these steroids on your team.
Sexy Bambo, Walrus Punch, locked in. Cold Embrace will actually be able to save. Sexy Bambo, the Shackle Shot, not going to be able to latch anything. Still, though, looks like Saksa is going to be dying here. Power Shot to finish him off before the TP completes.
That's Winter's Curse down for quite some time. I'm not sure how they would actually plan on taking a team fight without that now. They don't have any AoE team fight control. They don't have anything to stop the enemy doing Roshan. There's nothing really to actually quell the push here either, you know, with the Splinter Blast. That's really what you're looking at to try and stop the pushes into these tier 2s. But the top tier 1 is what they're looking at here. No Tail with his Ags up, Crit behind him. Trying to build into the Glimmer Cape while the rest of the team controls the enemy jungle because Anti-Mage farming bot is not what they want. Force them to blink away. And Fly thinks that they had vision there, but that was just game sense out from Swift Ending.
Yeah, he realizes they're focusing all their attention. Like, the Tiny Wisps are always going to be trying to farm up the opposite side of the map while the other 3 push aggressively to go for the pick-off on Animage, and they can always have to relocate if they successfully get the lockdown. So it's really up to the rest of 4C&L to try and buy some space, but I think they're really waiting on their Bristleback to finish up his build. Miracle. He's going to go for this Shackle Shot, and they're going to be able to latch it just before Swift Ending can make the jump away. Snowball controls him, and Swift Ending will die to the magic damage. Saksa, he's going to be probably falling here as well. Flies over the trees. There is no pursuit. No Snowball. Don't think the Power Shot was up in time either. And this time around, they won't feed away Crit in the process, so he's going to be a happy camper.
The bodyguard back up with the Wisp. But that Wyvern, I think in that situation, it's really difficult to choose whether your life is more worthy than this ward. Because you place a sentry, that's, you know, 100 gold down the drain already. If you don't go and get the Observer Ward, it's going to get counted out, which it did.
Yeah.
But they still have this vision. It's been around for a long-ass time. And AM doesn't have a clear way to finish off his Battle Fury.
Look what Miracle's doing, by the way. He knows this ward's going to get countered, 100%. So he's sitting here on the side, waiting for his opportunity. Phase Boots, Shackle Shot is not going to latch.
But he gets the sentry anyway. That's
yep.
2 sentries gone. And Wyvern now, he's going to be kicking himself.
Oh, Sexy Bambo got caught at the tail end of that avalanche. Big Daddy throws a long rock and able to lock him down. Now Pycat pops a Crimson Guard and has Shackle Shot on him, but even as tanky as he is, he cannot stand against the damage of 4 other heroes. So he's just going to pop his Haste Rune, run himself away.
Snowball.
Ice Shards catches up. Oh, man, if they have another Shackle Shot, but it's not going to latch. Pycat will get out. Will be able to finish up his exchange in the process.
I do worry, though, about the supports on the Radiant. The Winter Wyvern doesn't really rely on items that much. A Glimmer Cape would be nice. Having, you know, Tranquil Soul Ring or something like that. The Arcanes he's just picked up is pretty damn good. But Witch Doctor, running around without an urn, without, you know, Bracer, without Treads and Aghanims is a pipe dream. There's almost no way he's going to get that before 40, 50 minutes, if that, if he even gets it this game. So everything really is in the core heroes here for 4C&L. The Anti-Mage, Battle Fury, they need to buy time for him. The next 7 to 8 minutes is really key momentum building time for the AM to get into Vlad, into the Manta style. And in this case, do you even go Manta? Because he just gets shackled up.
Oh my god, he's dead!
Wait, do you have to buy Lincolns or something?
He finds another pickoff. What was that?
Do you have to buy Lincolns or something?
Just like, be able to protect your poor AM.
Yeah, like I think the Quap's got Yule Scepter, but if you go Yules and Lincolns, that means you've got no Orchid, no BKB, no Aghanims.
Yeah, that's got to be way too defensive of a build, I think. This poor AM. I think he has to go straight Manta from here because he can't afford to slow down his Manta any further. No, he's going to be able to get out. Looks like flies into the Roshan pit. No, he actually drops down right in front of Miracle. Still, though, Big Daddy comes in from behind, going for Pycat. Miracle gets locked in by the Winter's Curse, but he just keeps on running down, going for that Winter Wyvern. Will be able to pick it up. What a Sonic Wave! Sexy Bamboo, he gets out a ton of damage, but it's still not enough to be able to win the fight. He has to turn around, has to leave this fight for dead. Winter Wyvern looks like was able to TP back. Wind Ranger, Miracle, was looking to be able to join the rest of his team and hunting down 60 Bamboo, but couldn't quite catch up. So that's going to be the Tusk and the Wisp in exchange for the Bristleback, and EGM, I believe, also died.
Anti-Mage, wasn't it?
Oh, did Anti-Mage die?
EGM
he died to the Shackled Shot in middle.
EGM TP'd out. So that was just the Bristleback then.
Okay.
Oh yeah, of course, AM died mid to the Shackled Shot.
Yeah. And Bristleback is worth a lot of money, though. I mean, they've killed him so many times. Where I thought in situations like the laning phase, they were still able to pick up kills against him. He's been caught a couple times where he's just been overwhelmed, and he's still second in net worth.
Finally overtaking that Darkseer. Moon has had a spectacular game. He's only 1-0-6. No, you don't expect a ton of kills from the Darkseer. Just a bunch of assists. He is that synergy hero. But now with the Greaves up, it's so good against that Bristleback.
Yeah.
The 15 armor, the 15 HP regen per second, when you get that low, you're just going to keep you alive throughout all of this. Because there's that one big burst damage combo of the Winter Wyvern Curse, followed with Sonic Wave and maybe a Mana Void. But Death Ward and Bristleback Kill Sprays are both heavily mitigated by that bonus armor you get. So Greaves. And now, okay, now Moon, you've got Surge in a second's time, you've got Glimmer Cape to try and slow this push and take out the creep wave. But it's all buying time for his team to get Roshan.
Yeah, they'll be able to defend both their tier 2 top and middle lane. EGM is actually hoping to be able to turn this around and get the kill on the Tiny Wisp, I think, with the Anti-Mage and Queen of Pain already here, but we'll see if that's possible. Pycat's going to come in from behind, flush out the Wisp, I assume. Crit, he needs to be able to relocate and save Big Daddy right now, but can he actually get it off in time? He's not going for it. He's going for the secondary life. Relocate now. Is he too early? Oh no, he's too early. Big Daddy No-Tail's been abandoned by his teammate. He has the rest of the teams coming in, though. Wisp would be back soon. EGM is going to be the first to fall. Big Daddy trying to turn this one around. Swift ending goes for Moonduck. He will be able to survive, though. Shackle Shot launched in. Big Daddy starts running himself away. Swift ending. Sonic Wave gets laid out. They will be able to almost finish up the enemy. He's running himself away. Big Daddy, one right click. Get him. He gets him in the end. Big Daddy finds that lockdown. Miracle now up against Pycat. Shackle him up, but doesn't want to be close quarters with him. Is trying to just escape at this point in time. Slowed down as much as possible. Looks like another kill. The sexy Bamboo actually goes down, and the Winter's Curse catching Fly in the process, slowing down Miracle. Great Shackle Shot, though. And now the turnaround. Thinking about the Focus Fire. They do have the numbers advantage here for sure, but Pycat is too dangerous.
Yeah, with No-Tail down on 200 HP, he doesn't really have the means to get back into the team fight. You know, he's got no life steal, doesn't really have a great amount of armor. Even with the Eagle Song he's got.
Yeah. Butterfly first, Tiny?
I guess so.
Evasion is valuable, and he knows the MKB won't come for a very long time.
Either from Bristle or AM, and
yeah.
Does it work against the Winter's Curse? I guess it does.
Oh, yeah, that's true. They're going to have a real tough time now. I mean, their burst damage isn't enough to kill the Tiny, who's at 2k HP. And then they've got both Evasion and Craggy Exterior to deal with now. The Anti-Mage won't have NKB for years. Sexy Bamboo certainly won't have it either.
Never.
He'd have to build Aghanims and then go
BKB.
I feel like BKB is necessary in this game, and then go AC, and then MKB. I'm not sure if you can afford to go MKB without the AC, just because the value of the armor is so big later into the game. But then you're allowing Butterfly to be fully effective for at least 25 minutes.
Oh, yeah. And that's if he decides to go for the right-click build, which I guess he kind of has to here. Just to have that tertiary hero with the AM and Bristleback. Otherwise, what, you go Hex Refresher with a Shiva's Guard or something like that? But Again, it's just long builds, which coming to fruition is just so difficult for him.
Tower is under attack.
Well, they're doing the best they can, they're splitting up across the map. Pycat with Bambo up at top. Aghanims for Bambo is not actually that distant. With the Vlad stun for AM, they are making ground here. The poor old Witch Doctor, though, is still down in the dumps. He's got an Ogre Club. He's building up towards the Aghanim Scepter slowly but surely. Oh, Darkseer with a blink.
They're running in.
They have no Darkseer.
They have the Flutter effect for No Tail here in 5 seconds' time. His mobility is going to be pretty crazy.
Look at this wraparound, though. EGM and Saxa, both behind.
Yeah, and they're going to try and turn and fight this one, but the Shackle Shot's already being placed on Pycat with a double damage on Miracle. This could be enough damage to be really threaten this Bristleback. 60 Bambo barely managed to blink himself away. Here comes Saska on the side, trying to go for the Miracle, trying to help him out as best as possible. Another great Shackle Shot. Miracle's just turning and fighting as best he can. They've already managed to blow up the Wisp, but Pycat's about to be dropped here as an Avalanche comes in to finish him off alongside the Power Shot.
Here.
Now the rest of the team, 4C&L, toss forward, right onto the Winter Wyvern, but he wants to be able to go for more. He locks down Switch ending. That is huge. Shackle Shot blink in from the Wind Ranger to be able to get the additional kill on the Animage that allows them to handedly win the tight for monkey business.
Only losing the Wisp there. Winter Wyvern could never find himself in a position to use the Winter's Curse. They split really nicely with Miracle going north and then No Tail with the Wisp kind of hanging around to the south to deal with the rest of the heroes. You know, Bristleback was running from the Wind Ranger. And then Moonmeander, who I thought would never make it to the fight because TP was on cooldown, I think, and he was down over in the Radiant Jungle. He did get there. He TP'd to tier 3, ran, sprinted, surged, blinked over towards the team fight, and actually, you know, got the Greaves off, got a good vacuum to even things out. But if 4C&L had committed even harder onto, you know, a single target with Winter's Curse, maybe they could have found the openings they needed. Bristleback just, like you said, could not tank through the damage from the Wind Ranger. But if she doesn't have a DD next fight, do they have enough to bring him down? Because he is incredibly strong still. I think that's one thing you've got to really be careful with, is don't get sort of disappointed with a fight like that because of a DD rune. You still have the strength you need.
Fly, I think they just need to abandon him. He's very dead. And as you said, like, Pycat's still plenty strong. You do not want to be going into a full 5-man fight if you don't have a plan. So at this point, man, Pycat really wanted to get to this one. They will be able to get the Yule Scepter. Tiny has come in, toss up, Sexy Bam going for that kill. Will be able to get it too with the help of the Snowball. Pycat is charging forward, did manage to get 2 already, but the buybacks are here. Now the Winter's Curse lines up Pycat beautifully, but he can't quite finish him off. The ultimate goes out from the Animage. Maybe one last kill will get Fly, but Pycat's low enough. He's trying to escape now. Miracle catching up. Will be able to run him down. Power Shot, Focus Fire, whatever have you. Pycat is done for. Power Shot. Oh my god, he just actually hit it. He's got to keep going down there. There's no escape.
Yeah, like, if you have the TP, maybe you pull some clutch teleport back to base or something, but without it, you're pretty much just going to get closed in. The net will close out from monkey business and finish you off.
Yeah, Pycat just charged in there, and he did get a couple of kills, but the buybacks there from the Tusk and the Wisp mean very little, and they ended up turning around the fight, where the Tiny still picks up a serious amount of farm out of that. Like, he now has a Reaver on top of his Butterfly. Like, how I mean, there's no question about, there is no, like, how do they kill this? They don't. They just do not kill Tiny. And they got to focus everyone else on the team as best as possible.
Is that a heart with the Reaver, then?
I would guess, I guess so, because he doesn't have the Helma Dominator, which is normally the natural build-up.
The stats build. Like Heart and Butterfly.
All stats, yeah.
Look, those are 2 items which have gone hand in hand for years now. You know, you have the... It is basically effective HP out of the butthole.
Yeah.
You've got a ton of strength, a ton of HP, you've got the evasion, you've got the armor, you've got just a multitude of ways to survive through the physical and also magical damage coming out, but it's mainly physical. Again, it's a good way of dealing with this, with a little bit of nuke damage from the start. Sonic Wave, but the Winter's Curse, Death Ward, Quill Sprays, and then obviously heal from the Wisp. No Tail, I kind of want to see once he has Heart, and then a Wisp behind him with the Overcharge.
Oh, Miracle, you dirty dog, you. Fortunately, there's a Yule Scepter. Swift Ending should be able to get out of this one. And the relocate comes in, still able to catch two, though. Sexy Bambo blinks himself away. EGM, he's probably going to die here. Power shot and Ion Shell able to finish him off. And Sexy Bambo, blink out. No, he's going to be caught by the snowball. Fly catches him, too. And now the rest of 4C&L on the retreat.
Anti-Mage is 0-6-3. He just does not have a way into this game. He is a non-factor completely.
This Wind Ranger is an anti-mage hunter. Like, she has made it her life's mission to never allow AM to get any farm in this game. Like, he picked up Battle Fury, got Vlad's, you still have only your farming items at 32 minutes in.
And guess what? Tiny is ready to take your tier 3s in your base. And he's not slow about it either.
Certainly not. They're just ignoring Pycat and focusing on the tier 3 tower. Now Miracle's going to be forced back, and the Winter's Curse. Good time for that one. Catches two. They easily get that kill. Big Daddy No Tail starts backing himself up. Will turn to fight up against Pycat now. Looks like Big Daddy No Tail needs a relocate out. Crit comes in, helps out the heal. 5 more seconds till that's up. Crit is actually forced to separate from his Tiny and will die because of it. But still, he healed him up and got him enough room for Big Daddy No Tail to escape.
Well, they got the tier 3, but losing that Wind Ranger there is really not great for Monkey Business. And Roshan is up. They've applied pressure on the top lane, which is difficult to deal with for 4C&L. Really forced to have this anti-mage now pushing up there. But Roshan is going to be the next big thing. Give Wind Ranger to Aegis, and then just have her blink in. Look for that target on the back, because sure, she's been hunting the anti-mage, but now you've really got to focus on the key pivotal heroes in the team fights. It's a Winter Wyvern, it's a Queen of Pain.
Satanic now finished up for the Tiny, so he does go for the much more traditional build. I thought Big Daddy No Tail was going to really show us something very different on how to build Tiny. The Butterfly second was already very interesting pickup, but made so much sense in this game. But he will go back for the bit normal Satanic. This will now give him a lot more sustain to be able to stay in those fights and battle it out with Pycat, who's really his biggest threat still. Pycat's at 16,000 net worth, has an AC complete now. Which the Tiny, with this Butterfly build, does seriously shore up his armor with this build. Like, normally it's the AC, right? You go Aghanims, then AC. It's the thought process being you need attack speed, you need to be able to shore up your armor, but Butterfly still serves all of those purposes and grants you evasion.
It skips over the Yasha completely as well, because we used to see Yasha into Manta occasionally from the Tiny. And Butterfly is Yasha on steroids. Doesn't give you the...
Chasing down Pycat. Just keeps his back turned. Miracle's going to come in from the side, though, and Pycat, I think he realizes there's no hope for him. His team is coming in from the side. They do have the Winter's Curse. Maybe they can actually save him. Cold Embrace just healed Pycat up so much. Nice disengage. Big Daddy No Tail still going to come around from the side here. Goes onto the AM, forces out the blink. Now the vacuum wall. Going to be able to catch two. Winter's Curse laid out, but it's too late. The fight has already been won from Monkey Business, and Sexy Bambo now just has to try and get out of here with this life intact. But a toss, they'll be able to get poor old Saksa. Daedalus. Somebody help. Help.
He is not.
I mean, there's no escape, right? There's no
There's
escape.
There's a Glimmer Cape in now, but
no.
Yeah.
That's a Daedalus on Miracle. His damage, when you put Solar Crest on him, too.
Darkseer just finished up a full Hex.
All right, that's just absurd. Darkseer, Moon.
Like, we saw him skyrocket up in terms of net worth, and that was surprising. But at every stage of the game, like 10 minutes, 20 minutes, every 10 minutes or every 5 minutes, every mark you want to look at net worth and last hits and item progression, Moon Meander has done an excellent job. He still hasn't died. He's 3-0-13.
Oh, Sexy Bambo. Don't tell me you're going to get run down. Blink Shackle Shot? No.
It's on cooldown.
Bit too late for that one. EGM, though, you don't even need the Shackle to launch to threaten him. All right, back to this tier 2 tower. Animage is doing his split pushing thing. But
how far can
you are never going to beat out a Tiny when it comes to pushing.
Oh, they're actually coming back to stop
Relocate play. I mean, that's got to be it, right?
Well, no, the Darkseer went up there. Crit is still down at bottom lane. He has no TP.
I thought they would send Tiny and Wisp up there. They'd push out the top lane and still go for the bottom lane push just because they could relocate back in. But I think they're really wanting to play this first official of theirs very patiently, it seems. And as time goes on, like the Animage, yes, he will catch up, but he won't outshine the Tiny.
And Tiny just went for a blink. So he's also going to be able to jump past the Bristleback on the front lines, into the Wyvern, into the Witch Doctor, and maybe even find the Anti-Mage.
Yeah, that's actually not a bad idea at all. It's a little weird seeing the Blink Dagger come in at 36.5 minutes in for the Tiny, but it does make a significant amount of sense because the Bristleback on their front lines is still your biggest issue, as is the Winter's Curse. He's just protecting these heroes in the background so much. But if he can get a pick off, take out the Winter Wyvern, or even like Sexy Bamboo first, you've got a good opportunity to be able to win this fight. Oh, vacuum. Two-man vacuum. Shackle shot onto Pycat. EGM managed to get off the Glimmer Cape, but it's Pycat who's in the real trouble right now. They'll finish off EGM real quickly. Winter's Curse, never mind. Pycat actually wants to try and do battle here, but the Windrun protecting him from a lot of this damage. Pycat, Shackle shot is going to be able to latch once again. They easily clean him up with Big Daddy No Tail beating him right in the face.
No buyback.
And now he's going to go for more. Pops that flutter from the Butterfly, catches up with the Winter Wyvern, but Glimmer Cape will save him. Still, though, no buyback on Pycat. This could just be our full entire game if 4C&L failed to be able to defend.
AM is pushing bot lane. He could maybe try and take the tier 3, but I don't see him taking racks here before Tiny cleans up house. And the fact they've got no Sonic Wave for 10, no Winter's Curse for a minute, and also 50 seconds without your AC carrying brawling Bristleback.
Oh man, they have backdoor protection. This is a little awkward. This tier 3 tower is actually going to be going down. They're not going to get nearly as much as I thought they would.
Oh god, is AM going to die here?
AM, Walrus Punch up in the air. Snowball still the cancel though. What happened? Crit, that relocate was coming out, but I think a long-range Yule Scepter from Sexy Bamboo might have just ensured that our Animage lived. He would have been chain stun, I think, quite easily. Oh, don't tell me.
I thought he was going to blink back in.
I thought he was too. I thought he was going to go and try and finish up the range racks and then TP out or something. That would have been insane.
He's got himself 3K. He can now actually look at some team fighting items. You know, maybe even a BKB. A heart wouldn't be out of the question. There are just so many ways he can go. It's always very difficult to say which one is, you know, the most optimum, which one's the most efficient. Yeah, Satsa getting chased out a little bit here.
I think you've got the fact that craggy exterior, but then again, you're not going to target the Tiny anyway. I was going to say BKB because of craggy, but
like Windranger doesn't have an MKB, she could go for one. Tiny I don't think is going to build one this game, but he could with the money they've got. Butterfly, you need more HP. Oh, he's still going to go for the Butterfly. I feel like Butterfly, you need a little more HP beforehand. But the fact they're not going to go for MKBs on Monkey Business too soon. You've seen the Ultimate Orb on Miracle. He's pretty much going to be going for that Hex to lock you down. You can probably get away with this.
Ping, ping, ping. Big Daddy No Tail, I think, really wants to jump whoever farms this, but 4C&L are all sitting behind this animation. Now they're going to jump in aggressively right into the open arms of the Tiny, and they are actually dishing out still a lot of damage on a swift ending. They'll be able to pop crit here, and now this lives Big Daddy No Tail with no ride. But fortunately, he'll be able to boost himself out with that Blink Dagger. Miracle, though, not really caring what happens at that top lane, sees objectives in mind, knows that 4C&L won't be able to defend for at least 5 seconds. Now he's got to get out, though. Winter's Curse controls him. Trying to win runaway, will be able to blink out. And he is good. Ice Shards making sure their retreat is possible.
I love this timer being broken. The rush timer.
Oh, yeah.
Thanks, Reborn. But yeah, 4 minutes until Roshan's back up. Not such a long time. But that little push there, they chip away at the tier 3. They control the Radiant jungle. They've got some good aggressive wards down. It's just the fact that Tiny couldn't join in there. Because if they had a Tiny with the Windranger both wailing away at the tier 3,
yeah,
they could have taken it. They could have taken it, then backed up and maybe tried to reset on the high ground, back over towards the ramp east of that bot lane, and then go back in to fight. But right now, They're hunting. They're looking. AM cutting creep waves up at top, and I don't think you can actually catch him out here. He'll blink back into the trees, unless you can get like a sigil or the Glimmer Cape Darks here to actually see him and know where he blinked into.
And he still has Scythe of Vice too. Swift Ending is making his way through the trees. Moon almost caught him. Power shot. Oh, they got him. Swift Ending. He's been caught and he's going to be shackled up on top. And he goes down. 80 seconds on the clock. The Animage falls. He thought he was good.
I thought he was good.
Great read there from everyone there on Monkey Business. Like, Moon was, he was like a bloodhound there, man. He was scouting that out. The Glimmer Cape goes in. Vacuum at the right spot, blinks again in the right direction, managed to catch him perfectly with the wall.
That's the thing, as soon as AM goes into fog, you know, he's got two real options. He, blinks initially into the trees that are close to the lane, or he runs a little bit further to jump deep into the trees.
Right.
So Moon closed both of those options by vacuuming the close trees to stop a possible TP, but also opened it up so he could surge through and get the... I can't believe he got the wall hex, and then the Avalanche toss came in as well.
Pycat, toss back, TP away though.
Is there a stump?
And the snowball's too late. Still though, the range tracks died in the top lane. Monkey Business are, even if they are having to rotate around and deal with these split pushes, they aren't getting objectives, they are closing out this game. Moonshard now for the Tiny. His attack speed. Every half second, we've got an attack. And when you have crit popping off that overcharge, it gets even worse.
A Moonshard Tiny. Why Moonshard and not AC, though? It's like the minus armor against the building is going to be great. The extra armor buff you get for yourself and teammates against Winter's Curse is pretty damn good as well. And also, there's an ACO on the Bristle Pack, so you're kind of mitigating that. Why do you think he values the attack speed so much?
I don't actually know if this is true, but I'm betting there's a strong chance that just purely looking at a damage, that Moonshard may be more effective. Especially this late in the game where the minus armor isn't going to be as effective when everybody has like kind of a plethora of armor. Nice pick off on the Queen of Pain.
And I guess he can just go and do this. Forces the glyph. He takes it from half. Oh god, Pycat?
Maledict up. They need to deal damage to him right now while that Maledict is on top of him. But he's just beating through this melee rags. Now they're going to completely surround him. Pops the ultimate out from EGM. Slowly but surely chipping away Big Daddy No-Tail. Crit. Oh, no. Tried to get the relocate out, but instantly the Winter's Curse managed to stop that one. What a vacuum! Controlling these heroes will be able to finish off the Winter Wyvern, but a great escape from 4C&L. Blinking away. They're still going to lose their laner racks, though. The fact that they're forced back to the fountain against a Tiny with the Moon Shard, he destroys these buildings so quickly.
The attack speed for the Satanic. Like, that's the biggest reason. You just get so much more lifesteal than you would with an AC.
Oh, Sexy Bambo, what a shackle shot. He's going to be locked in right next to the Animage.
Oh,
Yule Scepter. Cast doing so much work right now. Moon's actually going to take an ultimate to the face, but he still managed to survive. In fact, he's healthy enough to Shivas and get some damage out. A little bit more. They finally managed to finish him off. Big Daddy No-Tail's getting kited around, but a two-man avalanche locking him up. Animage falls. Pycat, he can't afford to go down here.
Blink.
But Miracle's got it. There's going to be a buyback on Pycat. They have a buyback on the Animage as well. Toss up in the air.
Tiny.
Satanic, allowing him to rapidly heal himself back up. Starts focusing on the tier 3 tower. There's still a buyback on the Animage. I think they're just trying to bait at this point in time.
I think go all in for Megas.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm still not sure why our AM is just refusing to buy back. They finish off the Tiny finally, and the range rack stays alive, but it's just a range racks. Like, they just all in. Yep, they just all in. Relocate, Mega Creeps. Here we come. Now the buyback comes out, but it's too late. I mean, I'm fairly certain Monkey Business had this game in the bag as is, but...
Poor little crit. Dragged into that whole situation by his teammate Tiny. Like, let's go and get Mega Creeps. Come on, just relocate me in. It'll all be fine. We'll get out. We'll be happy. But, no, it wasn't to be.
Not for crit anyway, but still it's Mega Creeps. And 4C&L are going to have to charge down middle lane with only 4 heroes. Sexy Bambo will join them, I'm sure, with his long-range blink. He'll catch up eventually, but they won't have the Winter Wyvern part of this fight, and that Winter's Cursing is kind of the only way that they win a fight.
How does Bambo stop this push? Sonic Wave Scream, okay, that's one wave. You've still got the bot lane to deal with, and then the second wave, top lane.
Yeah.
And 3 heroes mid. The Anti-Mage still isn't really in a position to fight. He hasn't got Butterfly. The Battle Fury Vlad's Manta, maybe he can jump in onto the Wind Ranger, but she still has Windrun.
Oh, what a shackle. I mean, really, you don't need to do anything but disable these heroes. You don't have to kill them. Eventually, their throne is going to die at this rate. So 4C&L got to be able to get some sort of latch, force a team fight, see if they can win it, but to jump in, whoa, 3-man vacuum, going to be able to finish off 2 heroes easily, and a third falls on the side. Pycat, he knows it's all over. He is being chased down by a marauding Dire side, and there it is, the GG is called. And Monkey Business, strong showing in their premier game.
To add insult to injury, Wind Ranger buys an MKB at the end of the game before Anti-Mage gets his Battle Fury.
Rough times.
So even if he was going to pick that up, the Wind Ranger already had it handled and countered. But yeah, Monkey Business, the Tiny Wisp bringing it back, even with their pretty melee-heavy lineup with the Ducks, yeah, Tiny and Tusk.